Take this job and shove it.
This is Mike Baumgartner, and you've been listening to Jobcast Radio, the show that will help you get, keep, survive your job. If you've got a problem with your boss, you're being sexually harassed, the company's done something funny with your pay, you're working overtime and not getting paid for it, anything going on at work, you need to give me a call. We will work it through and take care of it. If you've got a problem getting a job, you need help with your resume, something happened in an interview that didn't sound quite right, or you think you should have gotten the job and you didn't, you give me a call. 304-867-4142. Again, 304-867-4142. Or you can shoot me an email, mike@jobcastradio.com. Check out our website, again, jobcastradio.com, where we've got blogs, articles, and videos all geared to helping you survive this job work world that we live in. You can follow me also. We've got a fan page on Facebook, and you can also follow my posts. Where? On Twitter. Again, Jobcast Radio. In the first segment of our show, first half of our show, we were talking about discrimination for the unemployed, not for the unemployed, but of the unemployed, how many unemployed individuals are being discriminated against simply because they're unemployed. And now I want to talk to you another way that people are sort of really kind of sticking it to folks who don't have jobs, and those are the scams that are out there for those of you who are looking for work, or those of you who might even be looking for a second job. And I'm not talking about the really obvious get-quick schemes. This email that you'll get from some guy or girl from some country you've never heard from, and they've got billions of dollars, and they want to smuggle it over into the U.S., and they want to make you their representative, so give me your checking account, and I'll mail you $17 million along with $3 billion, and you can keep the $17 million, blah, 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 blah. And it's amazing because I have heard statistics of how many of those companies make so much money because people believe it. And quite frankly, I know you've heard this 1,000 times. If it is too good to be true, well, it's probably not. And if you take a look and you check things out, obviously things begin to fall through. But there are scams out there. There are a lot of job scams out there that will offer you. I get emails constantly in my spam folder saying, "Hi, Mike, I want to offer you a job as a marketing representative for a company, or a logistical distributor, or a salesperson, or whatever. I mean, stuff that I am not even qualified for. And on top of that, I've never heard of these people. Never heard of the company, and this email is saying they want to give me a job. They want to extend to me an offer. Well, here's a tip for you. If you out there think that you just got a job when somebody who you never heard of with a company you've never interviewed with, and they are offering you a job, and you take it and you think this is real, you need to call me, because we need to have a really strong heart-to-heart conversation. Because if you think you're going to get an offer in email from a company you've never talked to, and they're going to offer you some salary that, frankly, you haven't made in your entire life, those are easy to spot. There are others who are not so easy to spot. Those are ones who actually pretend, and look, there's a lot of these scammers, they read the newspapers, they know what's going on out there, they know what companies might be hiring or what's happening in the economy, and they will begin to put out feelers for jobs. And normally what they'll do is they'll say something to the effect, well, here's a classic example, the BP oil spill. When that happened, all the news was about, we've got to get this cleaned up. We've got to get this taken care of. So all of a sudden, all these websites start magically appearing, claiming to be government staffing groups to hire people to clean up the Gulf, offering salaries that really, if you're making $30,000 a year or $35,000 a year, and you see an offer, it's for $60,000, and it's something like the BP oil spill or something, you think, well, they may pay actually that. Well, shoot, maybe I should send these people my $25, $30 with my application fee to apply for these cleanup jobs. And lots of people will do that, and what happens is that little fee adds up a lot, and all of a sudden that website disappears, and you never hear from the BP Cleanup Commission or whatever, because it didn't exist. Many, many times you're going to find companies who are going to begin to advertise for jobs that do not exist, or they'll call you up, or they will ask you, I want to be your representative and help you find a job, or I may have a job for you, but I've got an application, or I've got some processing that needs to be done. Anything with a fee attached to it, do not do. Nobody, you should not, and let me take a step back. There are a couple of executive companies where you actually will pay some level of a fee and they will get you in some big, really big doors. They're very few. They're very far between, and you must do a lot of research. Now, a lot of companies will pretend that they are going to do that. And they'll say, well, I want, you need to pay me a fee to help get you a job. 99% of them, you should pay nothing. They're getting you a job. You look at how does it make sense that a company who knows you're unemployed, who knows you're not making any money, wants you to give them money to help you get jobs? Think that through. Now, again, another caveat, because there's always an exception to the rule. Such companies like sixfigurejobs.com, the ladders and stuff like that, who have exclusive job postings, those kinds of companies will charge you a fee. Most will charge you a fee so you can find jobs that are not being posted out in the public arena. Things that are not appearing on Monster, things that are not appearing on Hot Jobs or something to that effect. Yes, but even those types of companies will even show their jobs that are out there. They just won't let you apply for the job unless you become a member of their group. One of the advertisers on this show, the Ladders, highly respected, will charge you a fee to be able to apply for their exclusive jobs. Just stands to reason. That weeds out the people who are serious and who are not. But if you get an unsolicited email and it is telling you that they have a job for you, it is 9 times out of 10 billion a scam. There are a lot of them. One of the biggest scams that is out there, because it's one of the most attractive ideas, is work at home. Here's a job. I want you to stuff envelopes for me. This company, sends out lots of letters, so I need somebody who's going to take this letter, shove it in an envelope, and then mail it out. Now, it is true. There are companies who have groups of people who just, basically spend the entire day sticking things in envelopes because they cannot afford the thousands and thousands of dollars to have a machine do it for them. Or they don't want to pay an outsourced company to do that for them. Yes, but no company that I am aware of will have you do it at home. Why would they do that? And these jobs, of course, make you pay for postage, and they say, well, I'll tell you what, and we'll reimburse you for postage. When it starts sounding weird, you shouldn't be doing this kinds of stuff. Work-at-home jobs are very, very few, and they're only done by very specific companies, usually contact center companies, call centers who want to disseminate things out. But you'll know who these companies are. You'll recognize the name. You'll be able to call them up. You'll be able to go into their office and interview. Think that through. A company that wants to hire you to assemble things in your home and then ship them on is probably a scam. A company that wants you to work from home, receiving products from overseas so that you can then send them on to people in the U.S. or the other way around, go out and buy things from electronic companies and then ship them overseas, is not what you want to be dealing with. Unless you understand things like international commerce. Because sometimes companies will encourage you, not knowing that buying certain electronics and shipping them overseas is against the law, is against trade regulations. And they're trying to get around it, so they'll actually send you a little bit of money, get you to do that, and ship stuff out under your name, so that when people start looking into what this stuff is and why it's going to these controlled countries, you end up talking to federal officials and the company, poof, ceases to exist. So there are thousands and thousands of scams out there. I don't have time to go into all of them. I get emails from them constantly. Think it through. And also, another caveat, if you don't know this, you should, especially if you've been a listener to this show, just because a company has a website doesn't mean they're real. And just because that website looks like it might be from a major corporation, that does not necessarily mean it's real. There are fake websites out there that look just like the real ones who will take your information and your social security number and your bank account information, and poof, that website ceases to exist. So unless you know that you are on the website of the actual company, and how do you know that? Well, think of it this way. Let's say I want to go to Coca-Cola.com or Coke.com. I look up at my little message bar on my browser, it says Coke.com. Now, if it says fred.scammail.com, but it looks like a Coke website, it's not Coke. Think about that. So before you go clicking on any links or applying for jobs, check them out. If you don't know if they're real or not, give me a call. Mike, Jobcastradio.com. We'll be back.
Take this job and shut it.